Okay, we are recording in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Beauty Birds podcast, where your birds, Tara and Becca, that's us, get together, put makeup on our faces, and talk about, well, makeup mostly. We are recording. It's late at night. The lighting situation is not ideal for either of us, but we're here. We're doing the thing anyway.
We
Tara,
sure are.
What's on your face today?
My decor situation also isn't ideal because I randomly and spontaneously decided to start painting this room and then got distracted and haven't picked it back up.
What did you get distracted with? What were you doing?
I don't know, raising a 2-year-old, 1-year-old.
And he just went from 1 to 13 months to now he's a 2-year-old.
He's 14 months. He's not 2. He's barely 1.
But he's motoring around.
All right, he's got the energy of 12 2-year-olds.
Do you want to share today's exciting news with us?
Oh, his swim lessons?
Yes.
So we have a pool in our backyard, so we thought it would be really important to get him some swim lessons. Just as an extra layer of precaution, we have a fence and we have an alarm on the door, but just, as a third layer of precaution, he does the infant swim. And today he reached the level of with the instructor, who is the nicest person in the world, and really good at what he does, of being able to be thrown into the pool very gently. He basically just places him in the pool, but he can flip himself over and float.
Hooray! Good job, Marshall. That's awesome. I think
it's really cool.
That should be a requirement if you live somewhere where there is lots of water.
Yeah, we follow AAP recommendations really strictly, and this was the one thing that they don't think is something you should do, but I feel it's a generalization because if I lived in New Jersey and we didn't have a pool there, yeah, I understand it not being necessary, but when there's literally a pool in my backyard, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the pros outweigh the cons on it.
I agree.
Anyway,
do I have any exciting news? There's a new blog post up today on becandeggs.com.
Oh, it's a really, really good one.
Thank you. I was really kind of nervous to post it. Anyway, there's a new blog post up about the things I no longer buy from Amazon and where I get them.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a really, really, really good post. Not that the rest of them aren't, but this one was above and beyond.
Thank you. I'm also going to do what I still buy from Amazon in a couple weeks.
I like that.
Okay, what's on your face today?
Okay, I'm continuing to eat my words because I'm still wearing the Little Ray of Sunshine palette. Love it. After chef's kiss. After trashing it live on air and then crawling back to it.
I think that was my birthday smasher pass.
It was.
And you were like, I hate it. And I was like, I love it. I'm going to buy it. And then I bought it and you were like, okay, I'm going to buy it.
I even compared it. I swatched it out next to my Viseart Matte 01 palette because that's my favorite matte palette. And I would say maybe one or two of the browns are similar, but for the most part, for a neutral matte palette, they're completely different shades.
I really stand by this thing that I think it's a great autumnal shade range if you live in a warm climate.
I agree.
Because the fall vibes are here, but the fall weather definitely is not. At least not in Texas.
Also, the trees here in Florida are little bitches because all the leaves are falling off and it's okay, chill out, it's 80 degrees. I think you guys are just overreacting.
Calm yourselves.
What is on your face?
I posted on the Birdstagram, Beauty Birds podcast Instagram today, saying that I was going to wear the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette and the Black Moon Cosmetics liquid lipstick in Hazel tonight. And that is exactly what I did. And I'm so into this look right now.
What a phenomenal combo.
From Gemini, I used Luna, which is just sort of a nudie neutral color. And then I used Mochi, which is that vomity yellow green. That's my favorite color. And Fire OG and Leo and Goals. So I did No, I didn't use Leo. Sorry, I just used Mochi, Fire OG, and Gold. Still, I used 4 of 10. It's not bad for a palette that I bought and used and sold and then bought again.
I told you before, I was waiting patiently for you to be like, yeah, I still hate it so that I could buy it this time, but I
You told
support you loving it
me
too.
that I was not allowed to sell any palettes this year.
I told
And
you that?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
However, if I don't use the Muerte palette like by January, February, if I haven't started using it regularly, I'm probably going to sell that.
That's fair.
You
That
will
was an
have
expensive
first
palette.
dibs. It is expensive. It's nice, but like the blues just aren't really my thing. And it's kind of a shame to have it sit there and be neglected for me to like pull red from it twice a year.
It is a beautiful palette.
Thanks. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
We are doing another Smackdown if you joined us for our last one, which was
Palettes versus eyeshadow singles. That was a really fun one.
It was a fun one. So we're back at it again. This time we're doing cream products versus powder products. We're going to talk about face and eyes.
Yes, we're calling it a Smackdown, but I think we agree on a lot of things here.
Yeah.
It's more like, do you prefer cream or powder for each product category? And to talk about them, I brought out all my little basket of cream products.
And I came delightfully unprepared, where I brought nothing with me.
That's on brand for you.
I know.
Do you want to start with creams overall, powders overall, or like by product type?
I was thinking we'd go face and start with cream, and then go eye and then start with cream.
Okay.
Okay.
When you're doing your face, what products do you use that are cream?
Okay.
Like which steps of doing your face are cream products?
Yeah, so I guess I use concealer, which is liquid. Cream would be blush. And then bronzer, if I use a bronzer. And then liquid, or highlight, I use liquid. So I don't know if that lumps into the same category. I'm going to say yes for this.
I think cream, liquid, gel, like all of those, it's not like a solid powder or something like that. I'm going to count it.
Okay, so yeah, I use it for all 3 of like the pizzazz for the face, if you will.
What cream bronzer are you using?
I have the Milk Makeup one. I don't love it, so I don't really use bronzer that often. And I've found myself actually going back to powder bronzer now that I'm in Florida.
Wow, I'm shocked that you, a person with oily skin, would start moving towards powder products once you relocated to Florida. This is totally unexpected.
I know. So I guess, yeah, I will be taking the side of powder products just because right now for me it does make the most sense. However, I still forever and always will use a liquid highlight over a powder one because it just gives me too much texture.
I have a couple powder highlights that if I use the right brush and I apply them the right way, I really love how they look. But I will say, I think I overwhelmingly use like a cream gel. I don't know. I guess it's a cream. Specifically the Ritual Defee.
Oh, yes.
I have 3 of the Rare Light Luminizers now. And then I also have one of the Metamorphic highlighters, which I actually haven't cracked into this a bit or too much yet because it's like very glittery. But I agree. I think that they typically lay on the skin much nicer and are less likely to highlight, for lack of better word, skin texture. Not that texture is bad, like we all have it, but I hate when you do your makeup and everything looks great and then you put on a powder highlight and it's like, did you see my pores that are right here? You should look at those pores. They're right here. Also, there's some like peach fuzz. Check it out. It's right here at the top of my face.
Right, I have bumps right here, just for everybody to know. I actually don't own a powder highlight right now.
I have a lot.
Yeah?
I go
Yeah, I
back
don't
and
have.
forth.
No, that's the one category that I've like set in stone as like liquid.
I think it's funny because before I was always very much team powder. Bless you.
Thank you.
But I have drier skin, so like it doesn't really make sense. I used powder foundation for like a decade
That's
more.
crazy. I know so many people that use powder foundation. We're not getting into that for this episode. We're kind of just doing like the face pizzazz. But I knew so many people that use powder foundation. It just made no sense to me because I don't understand how to make it work. Even with my oily skin, I just feel like it did not work.
That's funny. I think we should talk about it. I use the MAC.
Okay.
What's it called? They had like a pressed powder foundation that I now can't remember the name of. I will look it up and put it in our blog post. But I used it from like probably age 13 or 14, maybe 14 until, I don't know, a couple years ago.
Wow.
It's so easy. And I used it like with the white like sponge that came with it. I don't know. I always really liked it. And it takes like 2 minutes. You don't really have any like harsh lines for blending. I feel like there's less issues with like matching your skin perfectly in a powder. It's not as obvious if it's like not quite right.
I guess that's true. But does it have the same effect as powder highlight or powder blush bronzer where it can highlight your pores and textures and whatnot?
I'm sure some of them do. I didn't have that experience specifically with the MAC one. I actually have a Bare Minerals one, but it's like a loose powder. And I do feel like that maybe emphasizes texture a little bit more than the pressed powder did. But the other thing is if you use a lot of things like cream, bronzer, blush, highlight, etc., you can't really put those over a powder foundation.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't really play well with others. You're kind of like relying on an all powder face now.
Yeah, if you use a liquid foundation, you can kind of do whatever on top of it. You can go
Yeah.
cream or powder. But if you use a powder foundation, you're kind of stuck with using powder products over it.
Yeah.
My concealer is a cream. I would say blush, bronzer, and highlight. I have a favorite in both powder and cream. But lately, I have been using cream products a lot, specifically the Fenty Cheeks Out cream bronzer that I think if I mention one more time, Mariana's just gonna like appear. And I bought the thing. I treated myself to the expensive thing. It's the Ilia Color Haze Multi-Use Pigment.
Yeah. How do you like it?
I kind of love it. It's so
Ooh.
nice. I have the shade Waking Up. It has a little like metal applicator.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just put it on the back of my hand and apply it with my beauty blender. But it just looks so much nicer than powder blush like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But it also takes more, I feel like it's more work to apply.
I feel like they're equally as low. I don't know. I'm not like a structure person, so if you're contouring, I feel like I'd agree with you. But if you're just like slapping on some bronzer, I'm the most like haphazard, just like whatever and run kind of person.
I feel like cream products need more time and more skill to apply well, but once they're on, are typically like more flexible in their use and like show less texture
Yeah.
and can look more natural
Okay. I
if that's
definitely
what you're
think they
going
look
for.
more natural, and I think that they definitely show less texture.
But like if I'm in a rush and I gotta move quick, I'm probably going all powder.
Really, because I'm going all cream.
I think it takes me too long to get it in the right spot and like blend it out. Whereas like especially bronzer, I just have a huge like giant Real Techniques brush and I just swirl and like put it all over my face and then I'm
Yeah,
out the
I
door.
definitely agree with that for the bronzer too. But like if I'm just running out the door, I feel like I'll just take a cream blush and like just, I don't know, quickly just slather it on there and run over like a blush brush. I feel like you run into the chance of applying too much in one area and not like being able to blend it out as well with powder.
Maybe I'm just like extra cautious. I also use like a duo fiber brush for blush because I know that I have a heavy hand.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to break down our personality types, you're probably a little more cautious when you're applying powder product. And I'm probably a little more haphazard when I'm just like.
It's funny because I think I generally prefer cream blush, but I do feel like it takes me a little bit longer to put it on. I like build it up a little bit more. It's a little more time to blend it out. Whereas blush, if I like don't apply it quite right, I can kind of just keep swirling the brush and it will go away. Here's an unpopular opinion for you. Sometimes I use both.
Oh.
Like if we're going out in the evening and it's going to be like darker, if we're like going out, remember that's a thing that we could do at one point?
Vaguely.
I will sometimes do like all my cream products and then like put the powder product over them.
Wow.
I know.
I feel like I've never heard or seen anyone else do that before, but I 100% stand by that. That's a good idea.
For bronzer specifically, I really love the combo of the Fenty cream bronzer that sort of like helps me maybe like shape my face a little. I'm not really using it as a contour, but cream products kind of like when you apply cream bronzer, it sort of has that impact anyway.
Blends itself to it, yeah.
And then my powder Hourglass bronzer on top that kind of brings like some sun-kissed glow, and so I look structured and like I just got off the beach.
Yeah, I like love everything about the doubling up that you're telling me. I'm gonna try it the next time I go
anywhere.
Grocery store. I don't know. I love that. That's neat. That's a good tip.
I think it lends itself well to warm weather too.
Yeah. One thing that I've been doing with powdered blush is when I do an eye look, I will try to take one of those eyeshadows and use that as my blush.
We've talked about this and I have yet to try it.
It's really fun. Today I used a lot of yellow and I used a little bit of the Sugar Pill, what is it, the Buttercup?
Buttercup cake, I think? That's the yellow, right?
Cake. Yeah. So I use that as like a transition shade on my lid. And then I kind of brought that onto my cheek a little bit as the blush. So it's like a yellow blush.
I love it. I feel like I want to like sit there and watch you do your makeup next time so I can like figure out how you do it.
It's a lot of fun. I think I've mentioned it before. I really love the It's Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need it because I have those shades in Sugar Pill eyeshadows and it's essentially the same size pan.
She has some cute products, but it's all a little like creepy themed packaging.
Oh yeah, you don't like the clown thing.
I really don't like clowns. You also, I think, typically use a setting spray, whereas I will use a powder on the rare occasion that I set. But I will use a powder with a damp sponge.
Yeah, I don't use a powder at all. I think I have like a Laura Mercier translucent setting powder from 2016.
It's loose though, right?
Yeah, it's like that little travel size one that I've had just for years and years on the rare occasion. I'm indifferent.
I hate it.
I also enjoy the air fun.
I have a Cover FX pressed powder. What's it called? Perfect pressed powder in the shade Light. I think they just have like a couple basic colors because it's not really a color product. It's mostly translucent. But a lot of setting sprays work because they have alcohol in them. Mm-hmm. And then my skin is like, I'm sorry, you just put what on me? And then like starts to make more oil. And then suddenly my dry skin is like an oil slick.
Yeah.
So it's actually worked better to set my dry skin with a powder.
So I never set my face with a setting spray. I kind of just use like face mist to set it because at the end of the day, I really just want to look like I just left the gym on a hot 90-degree day. So
I don't like looking shiny at all. Like, you can be shiny where the highlight goes, but otherwise I want to be like natural matte is my preference.
oh, I'm natural oil. Great, because I'm also just naturally oily. But like the twist is it looks kind of intentional.
I think for eyeshadow we have opposite feelings.
Yeah, I love cream and liquid eyeshadow. Like that is one of my favorite items to have, to try, to use. I love the one swipe, like one little cream product and like bam, full blown eyeshadow.
Don't they crease on you and like disappear?
No, so the cream and liquid shadows that I use all dry down,
Okay.
and when they're on top of my Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer, they do not crease.
Okay. I was just thinking about this the other day. This is probably my oldest cream product. I don't know if this is even like,
Huh?
it's probably expired. I have a Bite multi-stick
Oh, I loved those.
that I don't think they even make anymore.
They don't.
But I would like use this as my eyeshadow and my blush
Yes.
and like pat it on as a lipstick. It's in the shade Kava, which I freaking love.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I don't know if I didn't use enough product or maybe I used too much, but I felt like it was never quite right. And so I sort of discontinued use, even though like we'll never get rid of this.
So some constructive criticism I've heard about the multi-sticks from Bite was that it's a decent product, but because it's a multi-stick, it's not fantastic in any particular spot that you're using it. So it's not a great blush, it's not a great eyeshadow, it's not a great lipstick, but it's a good enough for each of those categories.
It's a freaking great color though, is really.
Oh my god, it is.
Kava is awesome. And they actually had like a whole collection at one point. They had like a bullet lipstick and then like a lip pencil, and they were not all the same color. And
Yeah.
I bought the bullet lipstick and I basically looked undead, and like not in a chic way, in just like
I think you sent it to me.
Becca, you look truly ill. Do you have coronavirus kind of way? So I just kept the multi-stick that I will keep forever.
Another brand that did something similar was KVD Vegan Beauty back in the day. They released a Lolita eyeshadow / blush, which is to this day my favorite powder blush ever. And then like in conjunction with Lolita, the liquid lipstick. But they were never like exact matches, but they're close enough that I feel like they work. But I think I would absolutely collectively lose it if they released a multi-stick.
That'd be pretty cool. I really like the idea of the product. I mean, that's kind of what the Ilia beauty thing is. It's meant to be, it says multi-use pigment. I think it's typically in their advertisements like blush and lipstick.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it as a lipstick, but I love it as a liquid blush.
Yeah.
This is also, it's like hard to overdo it. Even if you put too much on, it like blends out really easily.
That's good to know. Elf also has multi-sticks. I have 3, I think, of them. I only use them as cream blushes and bronzers, though. I don't think they're good at anything else they try.
That's fair. I guess my Fenty blushes could technically be multi-use products, but I haven't actually tried using them as anything else yet.
Try it.
I have a really bright red and a really bright purple.
Oh my god, those could totally be multi-use.
I don't know like what I would use them for though.
I don't know. Can I talk about some of my favorite cream eyeshadow products?
Please do.
Okay. I don't often buy like a whole line of something because I'm not that person, but I have 5 or 6 of the Butter London Glaze and Eyeglosses.
Whoa.
I know. Like they were not cheap. I don't know what came over me, but I bought most of them all at once and then loved them so much that I bought like another one the next year. They're like a jelly formula and they dry down perfectly to like not crease or anything. They might, what's the word? Like there's a little bit of fallout from them, but they are so perfectly glittery and like a one look, one swipe kind of ordeal. They're one of my favorite things.
That is so you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, like, that sounds lovely, but like, let me be explicitly clear. That sounds lovely for you. It is my nightmare.
Yeah, I friggin' love them. They're expensive. They're like $25. A good alternative to them, and it's a completely different formula, so it's an alternative but like different, is the e.l.f. liquid eyeshadow that they're coming out with, and they keep adding more, I was about to say flavors, they keep adding more shades to it, and they also dry down really well, but they're not like a one swipe, it's like a little brush, and you kind of have to like blend it out either with your finger or a brush, and you're working with the clock there because they do dry down, so you're kind of like fuck, trying to like blend it out really fast.
Powder eyeshadow, please.
For you?
Yeah.
Even like shimmers and...
I think the thing is that 95% of the time I want matte eyeshadow, and I really like a gradient type of look.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of what I did today. And that's very hard to do with a cream product. I actually used to have a couple of the matte ColourPop Super Shock shadows.
Okay.
But it's still hard to get that sort of blend spot right.
I agree.
And while I sort of like the idea of a cream or liquid glitter, like I know there's a lot of brands doing them with like a doe foot applicator.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have like the dexterity to use them correctly, but also kind of like what we said with liquid or with powder foundation, to put them on top of a powder, does it work?
I agree.
Kind of an expensive experiment to find out that you can't really put these like liquid glitter shadows over the 15 minutes I just spent on like blending out my powder.
So yeah, I have a lot of conflicting views when it comes to eyeshadow because the Super Shock shadows are like one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas of all time. That's a cream, right? We're calling that a cream.
Yeah, or like a gel. It's like a bouncy, I don't know. It falls into the non-powder products.
Okay. Because they're shimmer ones and like glittery ones, I love to add on top of looks or as like one swipe, but like I don't think I would ever even attempt to use a matte one because I can't blend those out for the life of me with a brush.
I think maybe that's been my mistake, is that I've mostly, as eyeshadow, have tried matte ones. Because I love the idea, and I think that's part of why I like the Bite multi-stick, was because it was matte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my problem is that I was always trying to buy the ColourPop Super Shocks as like a matte transition shade.
Never.
That's not how, you can't use them like that.
And I think if I were to try one, I would only buy like the vibrant ones to use as like accent looks or something. Like one of the things I've been seeing people do and I really want to try it is like doing a black eyeliner and then putting in like the corner of your eye or like just in the bottom like spot colors with matte shadows, and I feel like that would be a good use for them, but I couldn't imagine trying to layer Super Shock shadows. It's fine to like take a little bit on your hand and like pat it on top of your lid over matte shadows because it won't really like undo anything you've done, but there's no turning back. So like once you do that, you kind of like have to roll with it, and it doesn't really matter what's underneath it anymore because it's kind of covered by glitter. Same goes for liquid eyeshadow too. Like once it's on top.
Now I kind of want to buy some liquid eyeshadows.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, I think we counted. What did we say? That I had 10 eyeshadow palettes.
Yeah.
And I think most of them have a glitter shade, at least one. And like, I can tell you, I have 4 Huda Beauty palettes, the little ones. Across them, I probably have 8 to 12 glitter shades, and I've like maybe used 2 of them ever.
So I'm the same way with them though, because like I don't use powder or shimmers for the most part, except for the Terra Moons ones, just
I'm
because they're
actually
so
wearing one today from
um
the Gemini palette.
ooh, okay. But like the ColourPop ones, I bought that honey palette.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna use the glitters in there or anything like that. The only exception for powder poppers that I have are the Terra Moon Cosmetics ones and the Urban Decay Moon Dust ones, just because they're so like glittery that they kind of have the same effect as a liquid shadow. I didn't like that one. I got rid of it.
I'm holding up the KVD Vegan Beauty Alchemist holographic palette that after the Nazi left the brand, I got on sale for like $8, I think.
I kept trying to love it. I don't love it.
I actually mostly have used the purpley and the pink, like metallic shift ones as highlighter.
I'll hand it to the brand. They started the trend of the like translucent white based multi-chrome kind of color shift thing because like I said with the Terra Moons ones, they definitely have like the white based color shift thing. But it's more of like a sheen and less of a glitter.
Okay.
And I don't think it's as practical for eyes as I hoped it would be.
Yeah, I really like that effect on a highlight, which I think is why I like the Ritual Defee cream ones so much, because they sort of have that, nope, that's the highlight. That's not what I wanted. I can tell how much I use these because this is like so loose.
Yeah.
The lid is just like not staying open anymore. But they kind of have that like metallic reflective. It's like very smooth. It's not like a chunky glitter or anything.
Right.
But it has that lighter base, and then when the light hits it a certain way, it like reflects a different color. And that is my jam. I have so many highlighters because I'm always on the hunt for like that effect on my face.
It's not my jam. It just doesn't look good on my like witch undertone skin. I have to go with like a goldy, champagne-y kind of color.
So I'm actually wearing Ritual Defee Stellaris today, which is like a goldy yellow of that.
I think that's the most fun I can do with a highlight is like a goldy yellow shift before looking ill but shiny. Shiny but ill.
I do a lot of like the pink, blue, purple, like white base shift.
Yeah.
But I'm like always searching for that in powder and cream products.
It's just not my jam.
I feel like we've learned so much about each other in this episode.
Okay,
I wrote a list of pros and cons for creams and powders. Mm-hmm. And I thought that we could go over them and see how you feel about them.
Okay.
Where should I start?
Creams, pros. I'm looking at the top of the list.
Okay, so my argument in favor of cream products, specifically for face, I'm not talking about eyeshadow here, are they're more flexible. Like, I guess because they can look more natural, what you can do with them is a little more open to interpretation. I think that they don't show texture as much as powders can. And I think that you can get away with fewer tools. Like if you're traveling, if something happens, because it's a cream, you could easily like use your hands, assuming your fingers are clean. Like you don't have to have a brush. I think that's harder to do with powders. And yeah, those are my 4 pros for creams.
Yeah, I think I agree with you fully. I don't really have any like arguments against that.
My cons for creams are that we kind of talked about this a little bit. I think that they take a bit more time and a bit more skill to apply, at least for me. I know you are like Captain Chaos and channel some very strong energy that like I just do not possess. I think they can be messier. Like if you apply too much, it can be a worse time than if you apply too much powder. And
Yeah.
also they go bad faster. They expire faster.
That is actually like a major con to cream products, especially like my cream eyeshadows and liquid eyeshadows. It's a real big bummer that like they really only last a couple of years. Like the Butter London ones, as much as I love them, only last about 2-3 years. And that's
And
probably pushing it.
yeah, I'm sure the packaging says like 12 months or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if smell, texture, color, if all of those things are the same and like you sanitize your products periodically, you can definitely stretch what it says on the label, especially if you're the only one using your products. If you're a makeup artist, just chuck that shit and get fresh stuff. Don't be like applying that on a dozen people like every week and then be like, oh yeah, I've had this for like 5 years. Come on, refresh the kit. But still, yeah, those things can definitely go bad faster. I threw out some liquid blushes last year, or maybe even like when we got to Texas, that like have since been discontinued. Stila doesn't make them anymore, but they were like these lovely liquid blushes, and I'm sad about them.
I get so sad whenever liquid eyeshadow dries up and like I go to take it out of the tube and like the doe foot's just like
and like don't add stuff to your liquid products, please, to like loosen them and use the keep going. Please, just like it's not worth the risk of like infection and whatever else. Just get rid of them.
Just get rid of them.
My pros for powder,
okay,
are that when applying to your face, you can be less precise than you need to be with a cream.
Okay.
Because like I think I was specifically thinking of bronzer in this situation. When I apply cream bronzer, it needs to go like exactly where it needs to go. With a powder bronzer, you can kind of just swirl it all over your whole damn face.
I think I agree.
And I think for face, it's quicker to apply a powder, blush, bronzer, highlight, or even foundation. However, the powder cons are that for eyes, I think you need to be more precise than with a cream. They are like take longer to apply for eyeshadow than cream. We're assuming, like you said, that cream products are like a one swipe thing, not this super failed attempt at blending, which I was talking about.
Or not just a one swipe thing, but like kind of just like a topper. Like if I've done a matte look and I just want it in the center of the lid or something, like an accent little piece. It's not like a whole ordeal.
So eye looks with cream products are typically simpler.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, they can be faster to apply, and you don't need to be as precise for eye looks with cream products.
Yeah.
Powder cons, also that you need more tools or types of brushes. That's harder to like get away with just using one brush or just using your fingers. And as we already talked about, they can highlight skin texture.
Yep. I also have an added con for liquid shadow. Okay. It doesn't play well with other shadows if you're trying to do something else or like work on top of cream and liquid with a powder. So like it doesn't always play well with eyeliner either. It could like ruin the eyeliner, like eyeliner won't apply on top of it very well. So it's kind of like much more of a statement piece, or like you have to know exactly what you're thinking of doing ahead of time, because once you lay that color down, it's kind of like no turning back.
Yeah. I immediately thought of your elf glitter.
Oops.
I think that's on, it's in an episode somewhere, but I think you had done a look with the sugar pill fun size and went to put the glitter on top of it and basically like wiped away all your.
Yeah, so that color is really cool and I enjoy the product, but it like absolutely can't be used as a topper. It's a one
That is
thing.
the one step thing.
Yeah, because it's much more liquidy than any of my other, it's less concentrated and more liquidy. So like where the e.l.f. liquid shadows that they released have like a doe foot and like you swipe it and it's fully pigmented and it's like a bunch of glitter. The e.l.f. glitter liquid, I don't know, it was in a tube. Whatever that was, when you apply it, it's a lot less concentrated and a lot more of like a ethereal glitter look than like
Got it.
a statement glitter look.
I think it's probably best to do some swatch tests with liquid and cream shadows and how they play well with other products before you go hard on a look. Because if I had done my makeup tonight and then I put on like a cream and then it messed it up, I would have been so mad.
I've done it so many times. Yeah. Or if you're gonna do that and like play with the big look, just don't do it before a night out or like an important
Yeah,
Zoom call, if you will.
do like a practice run first.
Yeah.
I don't know where that leaves us in terms of who wins the Smackdown. It's for they're all better for different things and different people.
In my brain, liquid and cream eyeshadow wins the Smackdown for me.
I would say powder eyeshadow is definitely my preference,
Yeah.
but increasingly I'm a cream face product person.
Yeah.
Or you could just go totally nuts and use both, which I do a lot.
Friggin' love that. But yeah, I use powder and liquid eyeshadow all the time too. So I guess we're both just doubling down on both. And we're just here to present you guys the facts, but then go and use both on our own terms.
Yeah. Tell us what you prefer, what you like. Are you a cream person? Are you a powder person? Are you just listening because your kids wear makeup? I know there's at least one of you. Yeah, I'm curious to see what other people think. I feel like my feelings have changed a lot in the last couple of years.
Mine too. And I've also kind of stopped being like a one category kind of person. Like I'm not just gonna sit here and be like liquid eyeshadow is the end all be all, because I do use like matte powder shadows and like I don't know, figure out what your face does and then try to make it work.
In the meantime, I think I'm gonna go on the e.l.f. website and look up some liquid eyeshadows since I need a refill of that facial oil.
They almost had me today. Was it today that was the free shipping? Because I sent you like the link to it this morning.
Is that why they were already in my head? I'm gonna go have to take a look. But I did I ordered a bunch of candles today for a blog post.
That's delightful.
I'm working on some holiday content for Becca and Eggs. And I needed like 1 or 2 more candle brands. So I ordered some candles today. So e.l.f. might have to wait, but I can at least go build my cart.
You can at least go build your carts.
Is that all our things? I think that might be all our things.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Actually, even if you're not using Spotify or iTunes or YouTube, go like us on there anyway. Make sure to follow us and comment on stuff on Instagram at Beauty Birds Podcast. We're on Facebook /Beauty Birds Podcast. We've got a Patreon. I think those are all the important things. We never use the Twitter.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
All right. We will see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Bye.